Very excited about the next fireside chat, which will touch upon why Polygon PoS dominates stablecoin activity in LATAM. Camila Russo, founder of The Defined, will be moderating this and talking to Sandeep Nailwal, founder and CEO at Polygon. Give it up for them. Woo!
All right. Hi, everyone. So excited to be here in Buenos Aires at Staking Summit and moderating this interview with Sandeep from Polygon. Truly an honor. And I love the topic too. Stablecoins in Latin America, very close to my heart since I'm Latina and I know kind of the problems of this region very well. So Sandeep...
First of all, I want to say the honor is all mine. Like, I have heard about you and seen you like for such a long time, and you are a legend of the space.
Oh my God, that's too much.
I am honored to be here. Thank you.
No, that's way too much, but I really appreciate the kindness. So Sandeep, to be honest, I didn't know that Polygon was so big in Latin America. I was just for this chat, I was doing researching the stats, and yet it's really remarkable. So what I saw from there was this study done by a consulting firm called Sherlock Communications that found after Ethereum, Polygon is the most used chain for transactions, and your own research found that 60% of the stablecoin market cap is in Polygon in Latin America. So yeah, talk to me more about how you got there. What explains this kind of large share of Polygon in the Latin America market?
Yeah, like first of all, like you said that even you did not realize that Polygon was this big.
Yeah.
And I sometimes joke internally that we have a labor mindset, right? So we are laboring, like we are working so hard all the time, and we're not very good at marketing, unlike what people would want to believe, because back in the last cycle, Polygon was really big and all that. But I think somehow we have not been able to portray what all Polygon is doing. Like you're talking about LATAM, where 60 to 70% of all the stable coins in the LATAM region are on Polygon. And Southeast Asia, it's even bigger. Southeast Asia is like 80 to 90% is on Polygon, right? And users are using Polygon for a lot of things. And probably it might be also because my philosophy from the day zero was that blockchains are like telecom towers, and eventually they will go in the background. And so probably I shouldn't have done that. I should have kept blockchain. Like, anybody who builds, like, for example, Solana has a very good culture. Like, whoever builds on Solana, they say, oh, we are on Solana and this, that. I think we have not been able to. 90% of the people, not 90, but probably 70, 80% of the people don't realize that Poly market is on Polygon, right?
Yeah, I knew that.
It's like the biggest crypto app. So anyway, so yeah, about LATAM. So yeah, 60% of these stable coins and this activity is on Polygon, and we keep seeing like day after day after day more stable coins that are coming in. Like in our thesis, apart from US and Euro stable coins, there's going to be a flurry of regional stable coins. And on regional stable coins, Polygon is like really, really favored. Like, LATAM is one, like where we have from BRL to Colombian pesos to, Argentinian, currency. Most of them are, they all default launch with Polygon. And that you can see, like even in Southeast Asia, like Japan launched stablecoin. India is now launching stablecoin. They are all, like Polygon is generally the first or like one of the two, three chains they launch.
It's interesting. And can we talk about that differentiation between US dollar stablecoin and local currency stablecoin, which I find interesting because the main reason why stablecoins had a lot of traction in Latin America was specifically to get away from the local currency, right? So it's interesting that in Latin America, the main fiat to crypto purchase is for stablecoins, not for Bitcoin, not for Ethereum, not for gambling. Like it's for people buying stablecoins. And so that's, if you can talk about kind of the use case for US dollar stablecoins and how that's different from local currency stablecoins. And it's exciting to see local currency stablecoin adoption pick up, because that really points to just, everyday usage payments of stablecoins if people are using kind of local currency stablecoins.
Yeah. So see, this is the beauty of blockchain. So, and this is a very, very, very important question to understand. See, like, as you said, that 80% of the people buying crypto in LATAM, right? Not Bitcoin.
Yep.
They're not trying to speculate, they're just trying to protect against the, the deflation, the currency, constantly, losing value against the dollar. And so that's when you want to save your capital, right? You got the salary, you want to put it into dollars. Like, imagine, but then when you have to actually spend it, then you spend it in the local currency only, right? So forget about, in a normal world, how would you do that? Like you immediately receive a salary, you go to a bank which will have capital controls or this currency controls and all that. So you can't do it. You can't convert it into a dollar, because as a user, you want to keep the money in dollar, but spend it in the local currency. And this is where blockchain becomes really, really interesting, right? And now you have a wallet, you immediately convert your local currency into dollars. And now anytime you want to pay, like these utilities are being built, which will swap, they will charge you like 25 bips to 50 bips in the background. And then you have the local currency converted immediately, and you pay for whatever you want to pay for, right? So those are the things that we are seeing in terms of the user behavior ramping up a lot. And, this is like people many times, say that they don't see the usage of blockchain or the uses of blockchain and all that. Like this could not have happened with a normal bank app or anything, right? It's very, very hard, because governments will keep controlling how much dollars you can convert and all that. So this is one of the case, like if you have the dollar conversion, immediately you have a DEX there, you swap against it, and then you spend in the stablecoin. So that's what we are seeing.
And I imagine for these use cases to take off, on and off ramps are key. So how did you go about securing these partners in kind of all the region? Because like regulation is very different from country to country, and there's like different on and off ramps in each one. So how did you navigate that?
Yeah. I think, see, one advantage Polygon has is that, it's been there for last like 6-7 years, right? I started Polygon like 2016, it's been 8-9 years. And since 2020, we have been doing this. But so integrated chain, like after Ethereum, probably it will be the most deeply integrated chain amongst the exchanges and this and that. That's why we brought in AgLayer. That people can launch more and more chains, their own dedicated chains, and whenever they need an on-ramp, off-ramp, so the on-ramp, off-ramp happens via the exchange or on-ramp service or whatever it is, it happens on Polygon PoS chain, and it immediately can move to any of the dedicated chains also, enterprise chain also. So that deep connectivity comes from the longevity of the chain also. It's been there for quite a long time. But, in the hindsight in 2020, for us also, these crazy use case keep coming, right? Sometimes it's DeFi, gaming, and your NFTs and whatnot. In the hindsight, we should have simply razor focused on payments only, which we are doing now for the last 1 year. And that is also one of the reasons that people did not realize that since last 1 year, we have created a very, very strong stablecoin team, right? Like, some of the best people in the payment space in blockchain, you will find at Polygon. Like anybody you speak also, you'll realize. So that's the main reason, I think, that, the on-ramp, exchange interconnections and everything. So for example, the BRL1 stablecoin is actually exclusively deployed on Polygon only currently. So when people want to move their money from one exchange to another, whether it's Mercado, Bitcoin, or Bitso, or many of these like apps, like, even now, like the Dollar app and Eldorado app and all that. So they are all connected with Polygon, right? So you can, quickly you might have your money on the dollar app, you can move to an exchange, from an exchange you can move to dollar. So that interconnectivity and those network effects are compounding now.
And so you mentioned like centralized exchanges and fintech apps are the primary way that users in LATAM interact with Polygon. So very much, centralized, custodial way of using crypto. Do you see a path for a more crypto native and non-custodial crypto adoption, or is that not even a priority right now?
See, as a blockchain, obviously that's your dream, that everybody starts using non-custodial style of usage. But I think we should not try to unnecessarily force the user behavior. Users will move the way they feel, their convenience is. And so what we are doing from our side is like very extensively working on these, UX features like account abstraction and cashless transactions, and probably in the coming days, payment lanes, which will, allow some of the payment companies to acquire, let's say, a particular priority lane on the blockchain, which, validators can actually, earn money from. Extra money is like time boost or whatever, like you want to call it, right? So it's an auction of the block space. So these kind of features we are building. And then also the user experience on chain previously were not that great, but now like Polygon PoS also in the last 1 year, we have had like 3 major upgrades, which have increased the TPS of the chain from 200 TPS to around 1500 TPS now. And I think in 3 to 6 months, we'll probably go to 5000 TPS, which will probably make it more performant than Solana itself, like, which is, obviously the most popular chain for high throughput. And, between 12 to 24 months, we want to take it to 100,000 TPS. And when that starts happening, I think the on-chain experience for the users will be so seamless that some activity will come. Plus also allowing account abstraction seamless will allow these end user apps like these dollar apps and, the Lemon and Ripio of the world to also have those experiences while having non-custodial wallets. Why? Because the non-custodial wallets have much lower regulations than the custodial wallets, right? Because being a custodian of the money, you have to go through tons of different kind of, services. If you ask any of these applications, they will tell you that if there was a way to go completely non-custodial, where the user holds their money, they would prefer that to launch a lot of features. Of course, the float and they making money on float also is something, but generally all these apps want to go as much non-custodial as possible, because then they can launch crazy features right on top, like swaps and this and that, where the opportunity to make larger margins is much bigger.
Maybe together with all these technical developments in Polygon, improved UX, higher TPS, all of that will enable for more non-custodial and crypto-native use cases for LATAM.
That's what we hope. That's what we hope. Currently, it's very, very, CEX to CEX heavy.
Yeah.
And a lot of arbitrage is there. A lot of CEX to CEX movement is there and all that. But obviously, you want that to go non-custodial more and more.
So you mentioned Solana as like the most popular high TPS chain.
Yeah.
And Ethereum is kind of a leader also in stablecoin and payments in Latin America. And there are so many other competitors, or I guess like other players in the L1 ecosystem, even ones that are specifically focused on stablecoins and payments coming to mainnet now. So how does Polygon differentiate against like all these new L1s in terms of like what makes you special for like payments?
Yeah, that's a fair question. I think two important things are like, so for example, Polygon is like constantly compared to other blockchains, constantly is a winner on the payment use cases, because the focus matters a lot, right? So when you have like 50 other use cases, but Polygon is laser focused on payments and stable coins, remittances and this and that. Obviously, we are able to cater to the apps, which are the primary interface to the customers. So that's that's one important scenario. I think the second thing is for any new L1 to come, whether it's like, even like the Stripes, Tempo and all that, there is an organic flow that, or organic time you need for all of these thousands and thousands of, merchants and on-ramp providers and exchanges and everyone to integrate you. And that takes time. Like, of course, you can get like the first 40-50% integrations in first 6 months, 12 months. Then going like, especially LATAM and these are not speculative markets. All the L1s, like we recently saw Plasma, right, for example, launching, and then Tempo will launch and all that. But, initial is to get into the speculative use cases first, right? Like get a DeFi, Texas, this, that. These are all speculative use cases and drive a lot of MEV and, kind of the revenue for the protocol, all that. So the temptation to, drift into that direction is also very high initially. And so to get integrated into Southeast Asia, Vietnam, Philippines, Indonesia and all that, and LATAM, generally what we have seen is people keep deprioritizing it. And in these things, like network effects matter a lot. Like that's why Ethereum is like, in terms of the value, Ethereum is our one chain in terms of the value stored. But in terms of the number of transactions, Polygon is much bigger than that, right? So that's where the focus is important. Network effects are important. Compounding of these network effects is important. And as what is also happening is that over time in crypto, these speculative money loops are going away, right? Previously, people paying money to do this. They will always be there. But then those incentives are going lower and lower and lower. And these apps, when they realize that having a proper stablecoin usage increases my valuation by 50% in my equity, then, me taking like $1 to $5 million incentive from a particular blockchain, to put the transactions there, but at the end, I don't get the usage. Instead, let's do the active organic work and, get the use, which will give me like probably $500 million in my valuation. I think that also is playing out. So the markets are maturing basically in that sense.
You mentioned the ag layer and this different model of this different architecture that you're going to be launching and Polygon 2.0. But all this stablecoin activity is currently in the proof of stake chain. So what role will each of these ecosystems play?
See, from our side, when we speak to anybody who's launching these payments, stablecoins, and these use cases, any other use case for the matter, like money use case, the pitch is very simple. That you want compute, okay? What kind of, are you okay with shared compute? That means like you are on a public blockchain like Polygon chain, right? So you can use the Polygon chain, zero cost for you upfront, and you can directly deploy and start doing it. Sometimes the institutions are so big and they think that they have 100 million, 500 million captive users and they would need millions of transactions every day and they want to control the whole stack. Then they say that we want a dedicated chain. So the ag layer comes in when they want a dedicated chain, because what happens is that if, let's say, these institutions are there and they launch, let's say 100 dedicated chains, all of those chains become separate, like fragmented in liquidity. What ag layer does is, ag layer is a liquidity unifier. So you have freedom to launch your own chains, but then ag layer provides the interoperability, or this cross-chain settlement is the cross-chain settlement protocol. So the money can easily move. All these chains feel like one single chain, but then each of these individual chain is dedicated to one particular use case. So if somebody wants to compare like Solana, each of these dedicated chains will be local fee markets because they have their own local fee market, right? So that is where the ag layer comes in. So answer is very simple, that we are providing trustless compute. If your use case is okay to work on a shared blockchain where you are, competing with other resources to be in the block space, you use Polygon chain, right? And if you want dedicated block space for yourself, just simply use, Polygon CDK and connect to the ag layer, and then you have your own chain. Interoperability, on-ramping of money and everything is provided by the ag layer to you, and that's where we make money. And then on Polygon PoS, you have the transactions which make money, which give the fees. All this goes to the POL token.
Got it. Okay, so that's very much in line with the broader transition or kind of roadmap that we're seeing in crypto, which is definitely more institutions and this kind of convergence between TradFi and crypto. So it looks like you're building for that future, kind of enabling an infrastructure that's more, that's attractive for institutions.
Absolutely. Like, when we want to, well, this is the first part, like first time where we see that there is an activity where there is real utility. We are not good at these speculative use cases, meme coins and all that. Polygon was never the winner there, right? So now it comes to utility, and that's where we are very strong at. My DNA as a founder is also, where something real utility stuff is being built, I'm actually much more comfortable. So this is where we are seeing, a lot of this activity coming in, and we are building because institutions are coming in a big way. So when we go to an institution, like there is retail, okay, and then institution, again, the same question. Do you need public shared compute? Go to PoS chain. It's already there. All integrations are there. If you need dedicated chain, you start your own chain. And in the coming days, we have our event on 18th, Money Rails, announcing two massive, large institutions, payment institutions launching. And in the coming days, you are also going to see some of the largest brand names. Like when you close your eyes and think about finance, the first 5 names come, few of them launching their own chains, but they want their own dedicated and controlled infra, so they will launch their own chains.
Interesting.
So you're going to see more and more of this.
Okay, great. I think that's a great place to wrap, inviting everyone to go to the event on the 18th and see what these announcements are about. Thanks so much, Sandeep, and thanks everyone for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, everyone.